producing enough laps to, in fact, deny him his championship mark.
Yeah, but that's the whole problem, isn't it? When you've got this situation of 3 drivers, everyone's been shouting he's already champion, but if for any reason the number 2 car finished the race, but Alan hadn't done his 45 minutes of racing, he would get less points than his 2 teammates. So everyone's watching that very carefully. Stefan Sarazan then on board the Toyota at the moment, and just for a brief moment Audi had a lead there, but back in front the Toyota after the next cycle of pit stops. As you can see, night has fallen across the Gulf. So still only 5 o'clock in the afternoon here, and that's how early it comes in November.
Absolutely. So the 26 car doing a terrific job. Let's talk about the battles throughout the other classes, Mark, and just what is at stake.
Well, at stake is, we've already talked about LMP2, but in the GTE Pro, we've got 3 teams in contention with 6 drivers. So you've got Aston Martin against Porsche against Ferrari. In in GT Am, we've got 3 teams in contention with 6 drivers, and heading them at the moment are British drivers Stuart Hall and Jamie Campbell-Walter for Aston Martin. They're top of the points table, but Roland Goethe, having just handed the car over to them, has that car down in 7th place at the moment. So Stuart and Jamie have got a lot of work to do to haul that back up the order.
Very much so, and all in the darkness, of course, after Goethe did his racing in the daylight. Pecom Racing, you just saw Nico Menassian, I think it was, that got it out of shape, and in fact took itself a spin out there a little bit later on as well. Autographs to be signed, sort of last chance, I guess, for the autograph hunters. And indeed the classification of DT Pro still looking reasonable for Aston Martin. They came here with very, very high hopes, and Alan McNish getting ready to get inside the 2 car and just start racking up some time, ever important.
Yeah, he knows he's got to get those 45 minutes in if he's going to keep the same points. His 2 co-drivers have already done their shift. Right, Duval, Tom Christensen, they've done their bit. And the car slows down as Duval comes out of bottom corner there. Car slows down. It's a gearbox issue, Carlton.
It is, and well, we did warn you. And indeed, Alan McNish never got to get into the car during the race. A big flash on the lights from the Trillier machine as the number 1 Audi bet itself in behind that number 8 Toyota. So Toyota and Audi both losing 1, and in fact both with just 1 car left, and in fact the only cars left in the class after Rebellion Racing, as you saw, suffered an engine fire.
Well, Alan getting his hands device on the back of his helmet just in case that car's going to be able to limp round, and Audi crew watching anxiously, but Dr. Ulrich will be getting radio messages from the driver going through to Kyle Wilson-Stewart. The car engineer doesn't make it, but the number 1 car is still in contention though, so in that comes with Lotterer, Trellier and Fassler sharing the driving on that car, looking to see if they can make the most of losing the championship by making up for a win today. Hunt down that number 8 Toyota.
Well, approaching the halfway mark, and more than half of the LMP1 cars already out. Been a high attrition rate, couldn't have done higher than for Lotus, who lost both of their vehicles right at the top of the race. In the opening 5 laps, in fact, they were gone. Crone Racing took a spin, as you saw. It was going to be curtains for them a little later on as well. And Aston Martin were going to start suffering big time after having such ambition coming here.
So Loic Duval, who's been the fastest of this year's Audi drivers, clambers out of the car. He's thrown in the towel. That's all over, so it's just left to the 2 factory cars, the number 8 Toyota, the number 1 Audi, to slog out LMP1. But in LMP2, Carlton, incredible situation. Halfway through the race, we have got 4 cars that have already had 8 changes of the lead in that category. Absolutely amazing. G-Drive, Pecom, Oak, all at it.
And 3 of them on the same lap.
Yep.
So, yeah, extremely tightly fought.
Yeah, that has been close. Here we are. There's the situation in the GT categories. A, of course, Ferrari 51. We haven't mentioned it yet, but Jimmy Bruni asking a change of driver. Didn't want Fisichella driving him. Fisichella proving a little bit slow in the last 2 races, so he's taken Tony Viander from the other car, and they've pushed Giancarlo Fisichella into the number 52 car. The the 71 car with Kamiya Kobayashi, which of course means that Fisichella now has no chance of winning the championship.
Yes, I don't think it was a choice of Gimme Bruni, to be honest. He seemed extremely upset that Fisichella was going to be denied the drive. But yes, it's being reported that it was down to his pace over the last couple of races, but the word is that maybe it's just a little bit more serious than that. We'll see, but Bruni more than upset. In they come for their changes. They've got to keep these slick and smooth, and none smoother, it seems, than Toyota on the day.
Yeah, they are managing to eke out a couple of stints on the tyres at times, but now they're starting to build up quite a big lead, and they will, I think, eventually decide to change tyres, all tyres, just as a matter of course for safety. We've seen what's happened to other races with tyre problems, just trying to go too long on these tyres. Very grippy surface here. The surface has an aggregate that comes from Shropshire, and same as Abu Dhabi, very, very grippy, which of course puts much more strain on transmissions.
Went for a grippy surface because of the problem of sand blow, but they had in fact put a like a spray glue on the locale to stop. You need an awful lot of glue to stop that sand actually just blowing across. But very clean surface, it seems, today at least, which meant that the extra grip there was starting to have an impact.
Yeah, we've had a remarkably wind-free weekend here in Bahrain, which of course also explains why we've had the fog in the mornings and evenings. Here is the 71 car, we're just talking about it. Fisichella and Kobayashi currently running 4th in class. Fisichella has had a spin this evening.
Yeah, three podiums for that vehicle throughout, but Fisichella and Bruni not, of course, tied together in the 51 car. That appeared destined to be heading for the title, if only for Bruni, in the absence of Fisichella from that vehicle. But
of course, what they're also doing, they're piling up the points for Ferrari in the GT Manufacturers Championship, and Aston Martin coming here leading it, desperately fighting a rearguard action. We're on board the 97 car. This is Darren Turner, Stefan Mucker.
And sadly for them, I'm afraid it was going to be a drivetrain issue that was to put them out. Likewise, the 99 car also with engine problems along the way. And so it was to be a near tragedy, you might have thought, for Aston Martin, leading manufacturers and indeed leading both of the GT classes. And soon it was to be that they only had one prize to go for, and it was touch and go amongst the GT AMs as we stay on board with the 97 Pro car. Yeah, running second, as we saw it there with Stefan Mucker on board, but as Carlton says, not long to last. The 26 car then, this is the G-Drive Racing, Roman Rusinov, John Martin, and Britain's Mike Conway. Great job they're doing. They've been in and out of the lead of that class, and as we look at the moment, that car is actually leading. So great job by the Alan Docking Run team, run out of Silverstone, and got full Nissan backing, of course, here. Nissan's Darren Cox putting his money behind that team, knowing it can produce the results. My goodness, it has produced those results, hasn't it? 3 wins this year for the 26 car at Sao Paulo, in Austin and in Shanghai. Well, Wertheim, Lancaster and Ripe also doing a fantastic job on board the car you're looking at right now.
Yes, they're both rookies. That's extraordinary performance. They're joining Bjorn Wertheim, of course, 2003 Formula 3000 champions, making a return to racing now. And here in the 49 car, that is the Picom car again, Pierre Caffer, Nick Manassian and Luis Perez-Compaq.
Some big drop-offs on the track here as well, Mark. It does rise and fall here in Bahrain. A lot of cars were clattering the rear end as they dropped off some of the corners. The hairpin's extraordinarily focused on occasion. Yeah,
this is a typical Hermann Tilke circuit. There's no natural features when they came to build it here, so they made the features. They put hills in, they put some very, very tight corners. We've got a problem already. Now, we saw what happened here. That was the #1 car overtook an LMP2 at turn 10 at the moment that Loic Duval pulled off in the #2 car, and that's what's earned him the yellow flag. Gets a drive-through penalty.
There we are. And in fact, had it not been for this drive-through penalty, one feels that victory would have been well within their grasp, Mark.
Yeah, and I think not happy about that, anyone, because what Dr. Ulrich would like to do is finish the year with a complete clean sweep of all the races. Fuji we don't count. It wasn't a race. It was an exhibition in the rain. Toyota were given half points win for that, but no one's kidding themselves. It was a race.
No, not at all. I think they did enough laps to get Toyota at least on the rack on one race there as you drive through penalty then for the one car.
Yeah.
And indeed, some said rather nastily, so they didn't have to give the fans their money back for the tickets because there was in fact a race. But anyway, back to this
Marcel has no clue why it happened. That's what he told us. Yeah.
Can you explain?
Sorry?
Can you explain?
No, we can't explain because we don't know it. It's just a decision from the race director. He must have seen something that he has not seen.
Okay. And with regards to the number 2, such a shame. Have you had a chance to speak to Loic?
No, Loic is back, came back to the pit. Something in the drivetrain is broken. We don't know what. It's the first failure since the R18 is running. So it's a pity to have it in the last race.
Thank you.
There we are. He's absolutely right. It would be nice to keep that record.
Yeah, today's St Andrew's Day. Alan McNish wanted this win. That is his first retirement in 2 years. Big problems for our 97 car.
Another retirement. It is also drivetrain, as it turned out to be. They wouldn't be seeing that again. Likewise, the 99, I've got to tell you, unfortunately. So Aston Martin waving goodbye to the manufacturer's classification.
It's dropping away from them. Mooker and Turner came here leading the championship. They got engine problems. Again, very, very rare for Aston Martin. David Richards is here to ensure they get the double in GT Pro and GTM. They're going to lose the Pro the way it's going at the moment. And GTM is looking very, very shaky, with Ferrari and also Porsche ahead of them at this moment on the track.
It's almost like the old guard coming back with Aston Martin. A long time hiatus, as you know. Indeed, 54 years since Aston Martin last won a world title. 1959 it was Moss, Salvatore and Shelby that did the business. Now, this is, you're right, contact, and it is the 8 car being bullied out there, and that Aston Martin 99 was about to find itself.
Yes,
as well, out of this race.
Find its Waterloo, as might be Bruno Senna, Pedro Lamy and New Zealander Richard Stanaway on board that car. Yeah,
the Pro Class being led by Ferrari, as you can see, with Porsche in second place, and that 99 Aston Martin that was already looking slightly shaky out there. Of the 97 already out at this point. Aston Martin Racing leading the AM class, but well, for Stuart Hall fans, not the right Aston Martin, it seems. Nicky Tim on board.
All those cars on your screen now have retired. They are all out, and that is so rare to see so many P1 cars out. Here is the Matmut car. They've had problems as well. They've had a rear suspension problem, just getting that sorted out. They will get back into the race, but that is dropping them out of any chances of winning the championship. Raymond Narak on board that car.
3 wide, yes indeed, 3 wide in the night. Sort yourselves out, boys. Battle for second place as well was for position. Greaves and Pecom going head to head and mixing it in with one of the GT boys, and I think it might well have been the 96 Aston that is of such concern to us, but great racing nonetheless with an hour and 53 to go.
Yeah, and this at the moment is behind the 24 Oak car, the Oak Morgan Nissan. That 24 car being shared by Olivier Pla, David Heinemeier and Hansen and Alex Brundle, Britain's Alex Brundle. So what we've got, Carlton, in all the classes, we've still got chance of multiple British champions here at the end of the WEC. Alan McNish is already confirmed, but we've got possible champions in all the other classes.
Yeah, and a terrific possibility of a Brit win, of course, with Anthony Davidson.
Absolutely. Ant has not yet had a win for Toyota, nor indeed has Sebastian Buemi. So this would be a big day for them if they can keep this car out front.
Well, it certainly looks to be the point, and indeed at the point is the number 8 car, as you can see, lights ablaze with that little positional indicator. But look at this. You find yourself in a decent place and then in a very nasty one. Clips to the curb, and thankfully that went far better than perhaps could have been expected for the man who was pole of class.
Yes, Pierre Caffer, the German, putting the car off there at high speed. We don't quite know what happened there, but he's done just enough damage to the rear quarter panels. And look, he's right opposite the pits. How lucky is that? All he's got to do is drive across the road into the pits, get that quarter panel fixed, have a quick service while you're there, and get back into the race.
Yeah, easy fix. I think that was that'll go down as extremely lucky. Square on contact seemed to have boded very well for it. Bjorn Verdheim's Greaves Motorsport number 41 also looking extremely good, and Ferrari kind of in their pomp.
Yep, so Mike Conway currently leading in the 26 car. So it's just looking so good at the moment for G-Drive, the Alan Docking Run team, and with Roman Rusinov, Russian backing as well, of course. That's what G-Drive is. And here we are, good old mix-up going on all the circuit. There's the Corvette. We haven't seen much of that in this race. This was last year's GT Am champion. Is not going to win it this year. It has had such a bad season, and it fight is down to Aston Martin and the 847.